Hey, this is Matt Duffy from the San Francisco Giants, and you're listening to TortureCast.
You're listening to a podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants with hosts Willie Dills, Chad King, and Ben Lee.
Let's go Giants! SF Giants! Let's go Giants! SF Giants! Dedicated to the greatest team in Major League Baseball history, the San Francisco Giants. This is TortureCast. Standing on time, not gonna stop. We came to play, ain't slowing down. We're here to stay, and we're stomping on whatever's in our way. I'm feeling like a giant tonight.
Hi, this is Chad from TortureCast, and I'm here in the clubhouse before the game on Friday night against the Philadelphia Phillies with the third baseman of the Giants, hopefully future All-Star, Matt Duffy. Matt, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Hey, pretty good. You know, last year when you were called up, my colleague and I came down here in the clubhouse, and we're newbies at this too. You know, I know you probably had butterflies. We had butterflies last year, first access to the clubhouse, and we actually asked you a couple of questions. And this is probably your first or second week up, and you almost look shocked, like someone wanted to talk to you. I mean, now that, you know, you've settled in, you're the starting third baseman, you're performing extremely well, how has it been adjusting to kind of all this notoriety and a little bit of fame?
I guess you get a little more comfortable with where you're at because it was a little different, you know, having people come up and talk to you. And, you know, I'm kind of a mellow person as it is, so I'm not really one to want to, you know, kind of be in a spotlight necessarily, I guess is a way I could put it. But you adjust and you start to understand, you know, what's expected of you and what to expect also. So I think that all helps really kind of getting you into a comfort zone.
Yeah, no, I know you're a pretty down-to-earth guy. I feel comfortable talking to you because I'm the same way. I'm kind of a mellow guy. I don't like to bother you necessarily, but at the same time, I think it's cool that the fans get access, you know, to kind of your thoughts and feelings and how Major League life is, I guess you can say. You took an opportunity you had last year due to injuries and maybe some issues at second base with Adrianza and Hicks and others, and obviously you've shifted over to third base for the end of last year and now with Pablo being gone. I mean, how has it been as far as earlier in your career? What were your primary positions, and are you completely comfortable at third base? Because you certainly appear to be.
I played shortstop pretty much my whole life. My freshman and sophomore year of college, I bounced around between second and third. So I was familiar with the position, third base, but all through the minor leagues, I played all shortstop until the last week before I got called up. I played 3 games at second, 3 games at third. So I wasn't necessarily comfortable at third, but like I said, I was familiar with it. So this year we put in a ton of work, Wotus and Dunston and I, and you know, just getting really comfortable. And now I've kind of felt myself at home at short more so than, you know, when we shift on big left-handed hitters or something. I feel like I'm way too far away from the batter now when I go over to third, whereas before it was I felt comfortable at short, and when I would go to third, I felt way too close. So you know, it's definitely gotten to the point where I feel like I'm wanting the ball hit to me, and I think that's important because before, you know, at first I really didn't want the ball hit to me because I felt like I was on top of the guy. And then I got to the point where, you know, I still didn't want the ball hit to me, but I was, you know, I felt comfortable if it was, and I knew I could do it. But now it's kind of like, let's see if you can get the ball past me kind of mentality.
Yeah. You always hit well in AA, and that's obviously one of the reasons they called you up, because that league was kind of a tough hitters league. It was a good pitchers league, and your stats were showing that you were kind of rising above. What would you say is the main difference in terms of pitching at the big leagues than at that level of AA?
I would say balls look like strikes for longer, and strikes look like balls for longer. You know, their stuff moves a little later, and the location is something that I've noticed is far and above the rest. Is, you know, if it's an 0-2 breaking ball that they're trying to waste, they're not going to bounce it in front of the plate. It's just going to be a couple inches below the zone. So it's not going to be an obvious ball. It's going to be something that you could still possibly put in play weekly or miss. So that's something that I've noticed is pitchers are more accurate with where they want to put pitches. And if they do miss with the pitch, they can build off of that miss instead of just being like, oh, man, I missed, you know. So that's something I noticed. But at the same time, you got to remember they're humans too. And you don't want to put them too much on a pedestal. So I try not to do that. And I kind of think, you know, hey, they're pretty good. Obviously, they're in the big leagues. I think I'm pretty good. So let's see what happens.
I played a little college ball and amateur ball the last 20 years before I finally hung up my spikes. And one of the things I realized, at least for me was I seemed to, as I got older, and I'm talking mid-late 30s, I finally relaxed, and I started hitting the ball, made a couple of league all-star teams and everything like that, and it was way too late in life, never had the skills to go anywhere. But as far as the mentality aspect, I'm sure there's some similarities no matter that you're a professional. When you do hit slumps, and I mean, you're still a young guy, I mean, how hard is it? Because, me and other guys who obviously aspire never were going to make it, and even guys who do make it, they're going to have trouble kind of putting those slumps behind them. Is it a mental process, or do you literally just go, I went 0 for 4 today, whatever, next day I just go through my motions and see what happens?
I think that's the challenge is, we're all so competitive in here that when you fail, you want to try to find the reason why. You put pressure on yourself to come out of that, to outperform, your previous day or outperform your own self. So when you go 0 for 4, a lot of these guys take it hard. I think the challenge is saying, hey, it's a tough game. Hitting is a very difficult thing to do. It's okay to say, hey, 0 for 4, whatever. I got another one tomorrow. And if you're still dwelling on the 0 for 4, chances are another 0 for 4 is going to come, and you're not even going to realize it because you're still thinking about the previous day. And I think a lot of those 0-fers come from, the big slumps come from putting too much pressure on yourself. And like you said, relaxing is a big part of it. It's just, hey, understand that you can do everything right and line a ball off of a pitcher. It could ricochet off him, first baseman can catch it, and you're out. You did everything right. Pitcher knows you beat him. His mom knows you beat him. And you get out, there's no reason you should lose confidence over that. And there's other times when you do everything wrong and you hit the ball on the handle and it bloops for a base hit. And that's just baseball. So you got to understand that slumps are going to come. Streaks are going to come where things aren't falling. You're going to run into times when you don't quite feel right at the plate. You just got to stay positive and battle through it. And that's something that Hunter Pence is really good at. Is he's always so positive. He can go through 0 for 7, 0 for 8 and look terrible. And he's like, come on, let's go. So what? We're going to score some runs, And he's pumping everybody up. And that's something that really helps to have a guy like that on the team that is always so positive despite, whatever the numbers say on the board. And I think that's what makes him so good is that he's able to flip a switch and turn it around and look at a positive and focus on the things that lift him up versus, just my numbers say I was 0 for 4 today.
Yeah, no, you could three burners right at the shortstop. He hit the ball well, or you could go 2 for 4 with a couple of, lame ducks, and that's what happens. Just 2 more questions for you. First of all, I just made the mistake because I wasn't thinking. I asked Vogey for an interview, and I completely blanked out that he's starting tomorrow. Do you have any advice for someone who gets the nasty stare from Vogey and says, no, I'm pitching tomorrow?
Don't take it personal.
I don't.
That's my advice because I remember a couple times.
That rookie mistake, by the way.
Yeah, absolutely. That's just personality. He's so competitive. He gets in the zone pretty early for his starts, so that's the way he goes about things. And there's different guys that do different, have different methods. Some guys like to stay really loose. He's one of the guys that likes to be in the zone and stay focused, and that works for him. But I guess my advice, anybody that runs into that is don't take it personal. He's just preparing the way he knows how to prepare.
And he's a great guy. We've interviewed him before. He's been nothing but nice. But I get his routine. I just made the mistake. All right, last question. We got, Joe over there, and of course, Crawford making the All-Star team. We all kind of thought it might happen, but now it's official. I mean, how happy are you for these guys? And also, do you think that Bochy's going to put them in at the same time?
I hope he does, because that'd be pretty darn cool. Super pumped for him. They play every darn day, man, and they get beat up, worn down, and it's a long season, and they've just been so consistent. And I think that's something that impresses them. For me is just their consistency. Crawford, even if he's in a little mini slump or whatever, he's making unbelievable plays. He's kind of got that mentality. If you're not hitting, I'm not, or if I'm not hitting, you're not going to get a hit either. And he's always, picking up. I know pitchers love him over there at shortstop, and Joe's so consistent with his at-bats, and to see them be rewarded for that, I think it's really, really cool, especially as a group, as a duo.
All right, well, cool. Thanks a lot. I really do appreciate it, Matt.
A big thank you to everybody for listening to the TortureCast, the podcast by and for fans of the San Francisco Giants. Follow us on Twitter at TortureCast. You can also like us on Facebook or check out our blog at torturecast.com. I also want to say thank you to Ashcon and Bailey for letting us use their song Feeling Like a Giant for our intro. For Ben Lee and Chad King, my name is Willie Dills saying, we'll see you next time.